I'm thrilled you're here again. Welcome back to another episode of Boozin' with Jude. We're back to the classics. I love the classics. What can I say? Because if it wasn't for the classics, we wouldn't have anything. I'm guessing we just wouldn't have cocktails. And then what would I be doing during this like isolation lockdown? I'd just be like drinking beer, which is okay, but I'd be even fatter. What are we making today? I'm going to give you a little hint. Let's see if you can guess it. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. You betcha. What, Jude? A drink called the New York? No, a drink called the Manhattan. A drink that some bartenders say is the best cocktail ever served. They might be right. And even though I'm not big into rye and bourbon, I do enjoy it. I have to say it's a pretty smashing cocktail. Let me tell you the made-up history of this. There's the legend, which we like better, and then there's the probably what really happened. Legend has it, well, it goes back to the 1880s in America, and we know that. And by the way, it's an American drink. It's an American drink like baseball is American, like hot dogs are American, like jazz is American. And don't you guys try to steal it from us. It's our drink. We made it. Ha ha. So, just saying, because when you hear the name of this person involved, you know, the Brits are gonna be like, that's our drink. No, it's not. It's not. So legend has it that in 1880s, there was a big whoop-ass party, excuse my language, at a place called the Manhattan Club, a famous club, and they still lay claim to this drink because guess what? It's called the Manhattan. They say, it's ours, we created it. There was a big party thrown by none other than Lady Randolph Churchill herself. Dude, Churchill? That surname, we don't say surname in America, that last name sounds familiar. Yes, it does. Lady Randolph Churchill is the mother of Winston himself. Imagine that. So she probably wasn't throwing a big party where this drink was created at the Manhattan Club because at that time she was pregnant with one and only Winston Churchill. She's back in England having a baby. Okay, more likely, there's another place called the Hoffman House in New York. There was a man named Black. I'm sure he had a first name, but nobody seems to know it, that apparently created this drink. However, it is the famous Manhattan Club that says, it's our drink, we made it, we take claim for it. Who really cares? It's an American drink, supposedly one of the best ever. So what are we gonna do with this? It's a simple drink. It doesn't have a lot of ingredients. You wanna serve it stirred up in ice because if you shake it, it gets a little foamy. Some people might request that it's shaken. I'm gonna tell you, we're not gonna make it that way today, but you know what? At the end of the day, all of these drinks, you amend them, adjust them, and adapt them to the way that you like them. So even the ingredients, sometimes there's, people like more sweet vermouth or less sweet vermouth. They might use dry vermouth and have a dry Manhattan, or they might use half and half sweet vermouth and half dry vermouth, and that's called a perfect Manhattan. We're just gonna make the original Manhattan as it was. Now, back in the day, they used rye whiskey. So I'm gonna use rye whiskey. A lot of people today prefer bourbon. It's more popularly made with bourbon. Rye's gone out of fashion a little. I don't know why, it's quite good, but and then there's the famous, I'll have a Southern Comfort Manhattan, please. Those who like Southern Comfort, God love them, go for it. I'm gonna make it with what little bit I have left of my craft Journeyman's rye whiskey, and then it comes with a little bit of sweet vermouth. Now, here's the thing. I use this quite often, but it's French, and so I don't know how to say it. So I'm gonna say Noy Prat, but it's probably not that. Noli Prat. I don't know. I just know it's a good sweet vermouth. It's not the top, it's not the bottom, and it goes good in this Manhattan. Then it's gonna go, after we put it in our glass, we're gonna put a little, 2 different kinds of Angostura bitters. I'm gonna do 2 dashes of the regular, remember from Venezuela, Angostura, Venezuela, and they came out with the orange. And I'm gonna do 1 dash of that. Typically, it's 3 dashes of Angostura bitters, but I'm going to do a little orange one just to round it out a little bit. And we garnish it with a maraschino cherry, maraschino if you want to say it correctly. And I'm going to use a chilled martini glass and serve it up. You can use a coupe glass or coupe as some people say, but I don't see no accent on that E, so I'm going with coupe glass. But I'm going to use the martini glass because I had it in the freezer, and while I'm talking, it's just like getting warm. but I like it chilled. Chill the glass first again, and then it keeps it cold longer. So we got a lot of ice in our little pitcher, and we're going to put our drink in there. And what are we going to do? We're going to take, I think I have just enough. We're going to take our rye whiskey. Support your local craft beer distilleries, because man, they're coming out with some good stuff. And then we're going to do 1 3/4 ounce, not quite a full 2. And that's about what I got. I have a little bit left. Let me just, no, I won't do that. So into the pitcher it goes. And then we're going to do 3/4 ounce of the Noli Prat sweet vermouth, which is just another fortified wine, much like the dry vermouth we used in the martinis. So we're going to put that in there. Now you want to give this a good stir, like 30-second stir. I'm a little worried about that just because I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. What am I going to talk about while I'm stirring this for 30 seconds? Would you like me to sing? No, Jude, I don't really like you to sing. To tell a story about my life? Oh, I got it. Let me say hi. Hi to my 4 brothers. I think only one of them watches this. Maybe if I dedicate it to all of them, they'll watch and I can get more viewers. I have 4 older brothers. I'm the only girl. I'm the baby. My parents liked me best. My dad would have loved this show. He was a cocktail guy. Mom, she's like, you shouldn't be drinking, but Dad would have loved this. All right, so I'm going to guess maybe we went about 30 seconds. What do you think? Are you guys just wishing I'd get on with this? Yeah, all right, so used our bartender spoon. Now, you want to strain it. Let me get my glass out first. It's magically hiding in here with some ice in it to still keep it cold. It's watery, which tells you I've been like gabbing for a long time. Now, before we pour it in, we're going to do just 1 little dash of the, let me get a little more water out of there, of the Angostura bitter. Ooh, that was too, it's hard to get just 1 dash. And 2 dashes of the, that was the orange, and 2 dashes of the regular. Okay, there we go. So when we pour that, when we strain this and pour it in, it'll kind of just mix in there. So we shouldn't have to stir it again. So there we go. Into the glass. It's a beautiful drink, guys. Are you laughing? Because like, oh good, we don't have to see your face and we can actually look at the alcohol. It is a really pretty drink. Now, we're going to take our little maraschino. I'm going to get you one with a long stem because I want, that was kind of broken. I want you to think about whether you could tie that little stem into a knot with your tongue. Back in the day, remember we did that in school? Maybe it was just me. People were making a fool out of me. There it is. Now you can just let it soak to the bottom, sink to the bottom. You don't have to use your little stick there, but you know what? It's kind of crass that you're like trying to dip in your fingers in there. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you what some people say is the best cocktail of all time, the ultra classic Manhattan. You know, that is a stellar drink. What a combination of flavors. It actually, just for a moment, I know this is going to sound weird. It took me back to like the Prohibition era. I was like thinking about the Charleston and why, you know, the Prohibition era, they had to use Canadian whiskey to make this because you couldn't get like American bourbon or American rye whiskey. Those of you who aren't American might not understand that. Dude, maybe you should tell people about Prohibition. I don't want to get into a big long thing, but it was a time when booze in this country was illegal. Imagine that. No booze. Now, I'm sure like people, you know, went into bars like you guys would have gone into bars and just had tea and cake. But there were some people that snuck into places and there were some little drinkies underneath maybe the bar, like hidden away. And at that time, they would have to use Canadian rye whiskey because that's all that they could sneak into the country. And it was really hard to make and produce alcohol without the feds checking it out. So what was life like without booze? I just don't know. Anyways, this is a stellar drink, folks. And it is a classic. You can see why it's a classic. Why that ever went out of fashion, I don't know. But, you know, take some time. It's an easy drink to make. You'll really enjoy it. You know, just do it right. Just make sure you get everything chilled and stirred, and it's a great combination. And then you can decide whether you want to alter the ingredients, you know, more sweetness, less sweetness, you prefer it dry, you prefer it, you know, half and half, whatever. You can do what you want with any of these drinks because it's all about what you like. The experience is what it's about, and you have to have a nice experience to enjoy the cocktail. So I'll see you next time on Boozing with Jude. Until then, salute. I really enjoyed this one. I think maybe next, the Bloody Mary. Woo-hoo! All right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you later.